Hello everybody, my name is Mitch and today we are going over fantasy football wide receivers. We're going to do a little prep. We're going to talk about the top wide receivers coming into the 2021 season. This list comes from fantasyfootballcalculator.com. I will leave a link to the description. A link to that in the description. But at any rate, let's go ahead and get started. First, we have Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is an explosive player on a high-scoring team with a dynamic quarterback, perhaps the best in the league, being Patrick Mahomes. Davante Adams, he should be great as long as Aaron Rodgers is playing and his head is in the right place. I'm not sure if that's going to be the case. Stefon Diggs, it didn't take Diggs and Josh Allen long to start connecting, so now they have a year or a year full of building rapport. I think that could be good things for Stefon Diggs. DeAndre Hopkins, I think that him and the Cardinals are serious contenders this year. I really like DeAndre Hopkins coming into this year. I know that he has huge hands. Calvin Ridley had 143 targets last year. That's with Julio Jones on the team. That's top 6 in targets. Matt Ryan needs to feed Calvin Ridley if he knows what's good for him, so I do like Calvin Ridley coming into here. DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf is an athletic freak. He finished inside the top 10 in both touchdowns and yards last year, finished outside of the top 10 in targets and receptions. So if targets and receptions goes up, who knows? I see DK Metcalf as being an explosive playmaker. I'm excited for him this season. A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown is another athletic freak. He's a crazy wide receiver. He often makes big plays. I do see him losing volume traditionally to Derrick Henry and now Julio Jones. It'll be interesting to see how that goes, adding Julio Jones into the mix there. Justin Jefferson, what stands out for me is his yards per reception. Last year in the league, he was the highest in yards per reception in the top 20 at 15.9 yards a reception. That's probably what helped lead him to 1,400 yards on the year, which is third best yards overall. Next, we have Michael Thomas. The big story with Michael Thomas is Drew Brees is not there. If I'm someone that's looking to grab Michael Thomas going in, I would prefer Jameis Winston. Maybe Taysom Hill can prove me wrong. I don't even know who is starting there, but those are my thoughts on Michael Thomas. Keenan Allen, I would draft with confidence. He is a target machine. He needs more yards per reception, kind of on the other end of that Justin Jefferson logic, but Keenan Allen gets fed the ball. I expect him to this year. Next, we have Terry McLaurin. He's coming in with Ryan Fitzpatrick, so if nothing else, I think that could be a lot of fun. Other than that, I do trust Terry McLaurin as a receiver. He makes big plays often. Really someone to lean on in the Washington football team offense, in my opinion. Allen Robinson, between Dalton and Fields, I trust both of them to try to feed Robinson. I could see them being behind a lot. Chicago, that could be good for Robinson, although I would worry about how much the offense sees the field as a whole. But when he's on the field, I do like Allen Robinson. Julio Jones, I do trust the player. I'm not sure how much I love unknown situations with him coming in. He could potentially surpass A.J. Brown or maybe have less of an effect as you would think with someone with the talent of Julio Jones coming in. I doubt he comes in and doesn't really change the dynamic much. I'm excited to see how it goes. I may fade Julio Jones personally just because of those unknown new situations. Mike Evans, I do trust the Bucs to score. Brady trusts Mike Evans to do it. He came out with 13 touchdowns last year in 2020. That's top 4 for wide receiver reception touchdowns. CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper, they're kind of the same for me going in that I'm excited for the year, although Dak Prescott getting hurt last year is a question mark going in, as well as who is he going to favor between CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper. There's a lot of mouths to feed over there in Dallas at the moment. Chris Godwin again, the Bucs and Tom Brady. I trust everyone involved to score. My understanding is that the team is essentially virtually the same. I do trust that Chris Godwin is going to be found open by Tom Brady. I do anticipate the Buccaneers to be leading in most games, so by nature there may be games where Chris Godwin isn't needed as much, but I think that's just the nature of grabbing the Bucs. There's going to be a lot of points in different directions. Sometimes your players will get them, other weeks your players will not. Next we have Adam Thielen. I'm pretty high on Thielen. I feel like there's no reason to believe we shouldn't expect the same Thielen that we have every year. I think that there's definitely room for both him and Jefferson to flourish there in Minnesota. Robert Woods, I feel like you can't bring him up without bringing Cooper Kupp up as well. I feel like wide receiver wise, they're virtually the same. They get the same targets and receptions, although with Robert Woods, you get I feel like he's a little more favored in the red zone and to score, and also he has running plays every now and then. We switch from Goff to Matthew Stafford. That's something I'm excited about. Let's see how it goes with Matthew Stafford. I think Robert Woods will still play a big part on the offense. Cooper Kupp, again, I'm excited for him and Matthew Stafford. I'm curious if Stafford will continue to spread the love to both Kupp and Robert Woods as the Rams traditionally have. Deontay Johnson, I'm very excited about Deontay Johnson, especially at if he falls down to values like this. I feel like he should be valued as higher than the 22nd wide receiver. Deontay Johnson is loved by Big Ben. He finished in top 6 in targets. The Steelers are a team that I feel like everyone expects to be able to score and bring an offense to the game. I do like Deontay Johnson. Tyler Lockett, I still like Russell Wilson in the Seahawks. I still like Tyler Lockett. I feel like every year in recent memory has Russell Wilson and Tyler Lockett connections. They do well together. I know we have DK Metcalf and also a rookie coming in, but I still think there will be room for Tyler Lockett to shine. Next we have Odell Beckham Jr. His value has taken a hit in recent years, and I don't feel like it's for no reason. He didn't complete last season due to an injury. I'm unsure how important it is at this time for the Browns to feed OBJ the ball. I do think he is a playmaker, but I'm just not sure if that's the Browns' road to victory. I am not going to draft Odell Beckham Jr. with confidence, but I guess I will feel like I definitely have a playmaker of a wide receiver. Next we have DJ Moore, traditionally a target and yard machine. Last year we saw Robbie Anderson kind of step up target-wise. Now we have Sam Darnold coming in. Sam Darnold and Robbie Anderson do have some history on the Jets, so I'm wondering how that will go for DJ Moore. I am kind of liking Robbie Anderson a little more than DJ Moore. No pun intended. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins I want to talk about together. It's hard for me personally to trust the Bengals offense and wide receivers and passing game in general. I'm going to kind of bunch them together. I really don't know who to trust between the two, or even I'm going to throw Tyler Boyd in there as well. Honestly, I am going to be fading the Cincinnati receivers. Brandon Aiyuk, I feel like, is a big playmaker. I think the 49ers are kind of being slept on value-wise just because they are always hurt, and they are always hurt. If he can stay healthy, I expect some good things from Brandon Aiyuk. Chase Claypool, a large athletic catcher. He seems to be second in line to Deontay Johnson, although I feel like it is close between him and Juju Smith, who I would put kind of third in line in terms of who Big Ben is throwing to, and we really just have 1 year from seeing all three of them together. I do feel like Chase Claypool is looked at near the end zone a lot of the time. He has that crazy 4-touchdown game we all remember, so I am excited for Chase Claypool. DJ Chark, I feel like Chark is a reliable receiver. He was able to do well with the Jaguars, which I feel like is pretty impressive. Depending on how much you expect from Trevor Lawrence, I think that this could be a very valuable pickup. Devonta Smith, I really have no clue what to expect from the Eagles offense. I feel like that's kind of some good news, though, for the Eagles. I'm not sure if they know what to expect either, at least in terms of the receiving. So I think because of that, Devonta Smith will be given a very fair and honest chance. I think that he has a good chance to claim targets because coming into the year, none of the receivers really are doing that. Cortland Sutton, I will be probably fading the Broncos wide receivers. I don't see myself missing out on too many fantasy points by doing that. Really, Noah Fant is all I want if we're talking catching on the Broncos. Tyler Boyd, another Bengals wide receiver. I'm surprised to see him all alone down here. Really, I expect all three of them to kind of be a little lower here, but I would not mind if other folks draft the Bengals wide receivers and I can draft around them. Robbie Anderson, I do like Robbie Anderson a lot. We mentioned earlier that he had the rapport with Sam Darnold, and he also stepped up in terms of targets last year. In fact, he finished number 8 with 136. If we could see some more big plays, that would be good, and historically we have. It just wasn't really there last year, so I am liking Robbie Anderson to step it up. Next we have Deebo Samuel. I like his potential if he stays healthy. Him and Brandon Aiyuk I value pretty close to each other, so I wouldn't mind grabbing any of them. We did see a game last year where Deebo Samuel saw 10 plus targets and receptions, 100 plus yard game. So we'll see if he can show that explosiveness and stay healthy, and if the 49ers can be a good offensive team this year. Will Fuller, he joins Miami now. It does kind of look like Miami is trying to build a gunslinging of a team with him and Devontae Parker there. He is a proven steroid user, which is always good whenever it comes to athletic competitions, whether you like that or not. I believe he does miss 1 week. I'm wondering if his value is kind of being hit because of that, or if people just don't trust Miami overall. I do like Will Fuller, and I'm somewhat interested in their offense passing game. Jerry Jeudy, again, Broncos wide receiver, who I am probably fading. Brandon Cooks, I really like Deshaun Watson. I don't really love Houston's offense coming into this year, but if Watson isn't getting sacked every 3 seconds, I think that Brandon Cooks does have a chance to produce. I see Houston playing from behind often, so maybe that will make a lot of Brandon Cooks a lot of passes going his way to try to equalize game state, things like that. Jarvis Landry, I feel like the gap between him and Odell Beckham Jr. should be a lot smaller. I could definitely see an argument for Jarvis Landry having more potential than Odell Beckham Jr. coming into the 2021 season. I am pretty high on Jarvis Landry and the Browns in general. I think they will have a very good scoring offense and produce a lot of fantasy football points. Thanks for watching the video. Please leave a thumbs up if you liked it. Feel free to leave a comment about what you think, any of the wide receivers that you like, that you don't like. It's always good to hear your thoughts. As always, thank you to anyone who has subscribed. It's always the most helpful thing you can do for me. But that's it from me today. Good luck on all of your drafts. Peace.